Imagine standing in front of a mirror, not just any mirror, but one that doesn't simply reflect your face, your body, or the version of yourself you show to the world. This mirror reveals something deeper, something hidden. It shows you the thoughts you try to ignore, the emotions you suppress, the parts of yourself you pretend don't exist. This is your shadow self, the part of your mind you've been running from. But what if I told you, or the more you run from it, the stronger it becomes? Swiss psychologist Carl Jung believed that within every person lies a shadow, a collection of our deepest fears, repressed desires, and hidden emotions. The anger we suppress. The insecurities we deny. The impulses we judge as wrong. We push them into the unconscious, hoping they'll disappear. But they never do. They lurk in the background, waiting for the right moment to emerge, sometimes as self-sabotage, sometimes as irrational fears, sometimes as an uncontrollable outburst we don't understand. And today, we're going to dive into why you're afraid of your own shadow, and how facing it might be the key to unlocking your true power. Have you ever had a moment where you surprised yourself? Maybe you snapped at someone and later regretted it, wondering where that rage even came from. Or maybe you've looked at someone who's succeeding, someone who's confident, and felt an unexplainable resentment. Not because they wronged you, but because something inside of you reacted with jealousy, anger, or insecurity. These moments aren't random. They are signs that your shadow is watching. Jung described the shadow as the thing a person has no wish to be. It holds the traits we reject, the emotions we repress, the fears we refuse to acknowledge. But here's the thing, the shadow doesn't stay hidden forever. It finds ways to make itself known. It shows up in projection, when we criticize others for things we secretly struggle with. It shows up in self-sabotage, when we destroy opportunities because deep down, we don't believe we deserve them. It shows up in addiction, when we numb our pain instead of confronting it. And here's what most people don't realize: if you don't control your shadow controls you. Your shadow wasn't born in a day. It was created over time, shaped by your experiences, your upbringing, and the world around you. Think back to your childhood. Maybe you were an expressive child, but someone told you that talking too much was annoying, so you learned to suppress your voice. Maybe you showed anger, but were told good kids don't get angry, so you buried your frustration. Maybe you wanted to be seen, to be loved, but every time you expressed it, you felt rejection, so you convinced yourself you didn't need love. Every time we were told that a part of us was bad or unacceptable, we buried it. But the truth is, those parts never disappeared. They became the shadow. And now, as adults, we walk around wondering why we feel disconnected from ourselves. Why we feel lost. Why we react to things we don't understand. It's because we've been living half a life, embracing only the parts of us that are acceptable, while rejecting the rest. But here's the paradox: the parts of you that you fear the most might hold the key to your greatest strength. Jung believed that true growth doesn't come from eliminating the shadow, but from integrating it. In other words, you don't need to destroy the dark parts of yourself, you need to understand them. The more you suppress your shadow, the more power it has over you. It influences your thoughts, your decisions, your relationships. You see, when we ignore our shadow, it doesn't go away, it just takes control in ways we don't recognize. Have you ever noticed how people who preach about kindness the most sometimes have the darkest tempers behind closed doors? Or how those who claim they are above materialism secretly crave wealth and status? The shadow has a way of exposing itself in contradictions. So, how do you face your shadow? Start noticing your emotional triggers. Who annoys you the most? What kind of people make you feel insecure? What situations bring out your worst reactions? These are clues to unhealed parts of yourself. Ask yourself, what am I afraid to admit about myself? What emotions have I been suppressing? What parts of me have I rejected out of fear of judgment? And then, accept it. Your shadow isn't your enemy. It's a part of you. Your anger might be hiding a deep need to protect yourself. Your jealousy might be revealing unfulfilled desires. Your fear might be showing you areas where you need to grow. Once you face your shadow, you reclaim your power. Because what you suppress controls you. But what you confront, you can transform. This idea of embracing the shadow isn't new. It's woven into ancient wisdom, mythology, and philosophy. In Greek mythology, Persephone was kidnapped by Hades and taken to the underworld. At first, she resisted. She fought against the darkness. But eventually, she became the queen of the underworld. What does this symbolize? That the descent into darkness isn't a punishment, it's a path to power. In Taoism, the concept of yin and yang teaches that darkness and light aren't enemies, they're complementary forces. You cannot truly know yourself without knowing your dark side. And even in Stoic philosophy, Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." In other words, the very thing we avoid, our fears, our struggles, our shadow, is the thing that leads us to strength. Even Nietzsche once said, "One must still have chaos in oneself to be able to give birth to a dancing star." So let me ask you, what parts of yourself have you been running from? What emotions, fears, or truths have you buried? And more importantly, what happens when you finally stop running? Because here's the truth, the shadow isn't just darkness. It holds power, creativity, passion, and wisdom. Some of the most successful, impactful people in history were those who embraced their shadow. Artists channel their pain into masterpieces. Entrepreneurs use their past failures to fuel their success. Leaders use their struggles to inspire others. Even Jung himself said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." Your shadow isn't here to destroy you. It's here to make you whole. So, I challenge you today, stop running. Sit with yourself. Face the parts of you that scare you. Listen to what they're trying to tell you. Because the moment you stop fearing your shadow is the moment you step into your full power. And if this message resonated with you, let me know in the comments, what's one part of yourself you're ready to confront? Until next time, face your shadow, embrace your truth, and step into your full power.